Are there words that you've heard, words that you've read, words that people have said to you, or that you've said that have really made a huge difference in your life? Hey, I'm Ray. Thanks for joining me in our journey through the Bible. We're on day 29 and we're reading the last 3 chapters of Genesis, and it's about the end of Jacob's life, and the focus has been on Joseph. Here it is. Jacob has passed. He has blessed each one of his sons, and then when he dies, the 10 oldest sons are concerned. Remember, they're the ones that sold Jacob into slavery after they tried to kill him. And then because he was in slavery and Potiphar's wife lied about him and he went to prison, and then he's in charge of everything. And finally, they've moved there. They live the end of Jacob's life. They're in Egypt. But he's passed and they're saying, oh no. What if Joseph was only nice to us while Dad was still alive? And now that Dad has passed away, what if Joseph's going to get even? If he's going to make us pay, is he going to kill us? Is he going to throw us in prison? Is he going to make us slaves? And as they're talking about it, Joseph is so wise and intuitive. He says, hey, you guys don't have anything to worry about. Here's the phrase: you intended it for evil, but God intended it for good, for the salvation of many souls. But God. I don't know if you've thought about it. The times in your life, and I am certain of this, we are not aware of hardly any of them, but there are some times where you can't understand how in the world it happened. You just know God interceded. He saved you from something. He kept you from something. He got you out of the way. He worked it out. But God. My life would have fallen apart, but God. Everything was against me, but God. Everybody was against me, but God. It was one bad event after one bad event after another bad event, and it was all terrible, but God. Joseph looks back over his life and says, you guys were terrible to me, but instead of holding against you, I see that God had an overarching purpose, and he was doing something greater. And all of your bad acts, God was just working it out. He was working through that. You and I've got the same promise that God is working everything together for good. Romans 8:28 says that. We know, settled knowledge, we don't hope, we don't guess, we don't think, we don't wish, we don't dream. We know that God causes all things to work together for good to people who love God and are called according to his purpose. And his purpose is for us to become like Jesus. That's what Romans 8 verse 29 says. And so the question for you and I is this, very simple. Are you being called? Have you been called by God? And the answer is yes. He called all people to salvation, to believe in Jesus, to receive forgiveness of sins and new life from Jesus. But don't just stop there. He's calling us to become more and more and more like Jesus. And so if you're doing that, here's what you know. God is working everything together for your good. It doesn't mean every single part is good, but he's taking all of those pieces and he's working it together for good. I'm Ray. Thanks for joining me. If you like this, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up or even a heart that you loved it, and share it on your social media so more people can be blessed by it. Have a great day.